I always dance to that. I don't know why. I just can't help it. I just start like bouncing to it. It's pretty dumb, but it's a silly thing. What the hell? What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Scoundrels of the Force. It's me. It's me. It's PLD, and I'm here with these two scoundrels. Only two this week. We're still waiting on a third to come back. Hopefully, we'll get her back soon. We miss her terribly, Bador. We love you. Mwah. But first off, we hear to my left, or probably if you're looking at it on the right, my left in a way. Regardless, the guy next to me, Matty Gunner, my friend. How are you doing?
It's a honor and a privilege to be by your side always. Or honor and privilege to be next to you and here with Jarvie as well, my European brother, my American brother beside me, talking about the franchise that we love the most, franchise
Indeed.
that brought us all together here today, and arguably one of my favorite movies in the franchise. Definitely top three.
It definitely, I would say, real quick before I'll say that it definitely bounces up and down for me. But when I watch it, it bounces up, and it's like the more when I go away from it, I kind of forget about it a little bit, maybe. But it's overall, it's still definitely one of my favorites in the world. And Dan, I'll do my best. Let's talk about directions, more dancing. I'll get to that. And yes, Maxwell, I'm doing just fine. I'm just doing just fine. I had a nice, interesting night last night. A lot of fun. Yeah.
Had
But
a nice
anyway. Also, I do have to introduce my other brother from my other mother, Mr. Richard Eric Jarvie. How are you doing today, my friend?
What's going on? It's an honor to be below you guys, right here on the lower end of the screen.
That's
I
the
just
first time
finished
anyone's
row
ever
one.
said that to me. It's been an honor.
Thanks for letting me be below you.
Below
I'll
you.
pronounce that very carefully.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I just finished row one like 10 minutes ago. I teared up way more than I did the previous times that I watched it.
Well, you know what? Let's get right into it. What were your thoughts when you first saw the movie going into the? You heard it was announced. You first saw it. What were your guys' first thoughts when the first time you went through it? Go ahead, man. You go first.
Um, First time going into it, I was like, cool. We're actually gonna see how many, you know, first off, we're gonna see how many Bothans died, which, spoiler alert, we didn't see the Bothans die, and we're gonna see like what it took to get the plans. So I was intrigued, and before I saw it, a friend of mine saw it before me, and they basically said it's Mission Impossible mixed with Star Wars. Now, as you guys both know, Tom Cruise follows me on Twitter. Mission Impossible is one of my favorite movie franchises of all time. I was intrigued, and I was not disappointed.
Pick up that name you dropped there, Maddie. It's on the floor in front of you there. Of course, the Bothans didn't die because they died stealing the plan for the second Death Star. That's why we don't see the Bothans die in Rogue One.
Bruh,
That's what it
it
is, my
was the
friend.
second.
That's what it is. But either
This
way,
this is what usually happens to me. This is a classic Jarvie mix-up. This is not on your level, dude.
Damn it. No, you're
oh,
right.
Dad calls you out too. Oh, that's all right. That's all right. We all make mistakes. It's okay. That's all right. Richard, how about you? What were your plans when you first saw this? Like, were you excited about seeing the movie the first time? And you just said that you teared up more this time. So, what's your development on that? What's your development with Rogue One?
It's kind of the same story that it was with Solo. I was excited enough because it's a Star Wars movie and I'm always happy to see one. But since it wasn't an episodic movie, my excitement levels weren't that high. It's the same thing with Solo. I keep watching and I keep loving it more and more and more. And I feel like this has the potential to become one of the greatest movies in Star Wars ever. And I say that not the greatest Star Wars movie, but the greatest movie about Star Wars.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Movie Fanobi, the channel, always look to see you. My friend saw it in theaters, way better than I first expected. Tudyk was great, cast was great. Didn't like Sog or Carrie Fisher, and keep Digital Tarkin more in the shadows. We'll get into that a little bit. I do have a little bit to say about that, but I get that as well. And yeah, also salute, man. First Moderna injection. All right, sore arm. There you go.
That's
Second
what
one
the guy said as well, that his arm is just like throbbing.
is the second one is better. The second one that really kicks you in the butt. Although I had the Pfizer one, so I don't know. Maybe I don't know which one's worse or not. But okay, well, I will talk to when I first heard this announced, I was actually extremely excited about it, if only because lesser the subject matter, but it was the first time we were getting a spin-off movie. So I was like, this is exciting to me that Star Wars has got, not that it's gotten so big, because it always was so big, but like we could branch out from the Skywalker saga and do different things. That just the very idea that we're going to get more and more of these as we go on, just excited me a lot. Now, granted, this isn't funny for a spin-off movie. This isn't too far off the beaten path. It's still kind of connected right to right to episode 4. As I mean, legitimately, like physically connected at the end there, very very end there, connected right to it. I was interested to see how we would do without that connection to some of the main characters and everything else. But I saw it. I was actually very, very happily surprised. Minus the little crawl snafu when they did the crawl at the beginning, that threw me. But other than that, it was fine. It was great. I had a good time with it, actually. And the more I see it, the more I like about it, too. There's some arguments against it. Movie Fanobi brought them up, a few of them up. Didn't like Saw Gerrera. I get that. The one I wanted to actually touch base on first, real quick, before we get into our breakdown, Digital Tarkin. That seems to be a big deal with a lot of people. Digital Tarkin and Digital Leia, so to speak. To me, that is something that never really bothers me. And the reason why, maybe I'm just easy to please. I'm going to fully admit I could be easy to please. But like when I go into it, I go, okay, I know Peter Cushing's dead. I know Carrie Fisher's not 19 years old anymore. I know these things. So like, if you give me something that's pretty close to it, even if it's not perfect, even if it does take you out of the scene a little bit, maybe I'll accept it and I'll be okay with it. If I'm accepting laser swords, I'm accepting magic I'm freaking force chokes, I'm accepting all this stuff, like a little idea that the character is not the exact same as the actor, that never bothered me. I get why it does take people out of scenes. I'm not going to ever mock anybody or say anything against somebody who doesn't like it for that reason. I'm just saying personally, that didn't bother me. So that was good for me. But interestingly enough, real quick, Dan Benhausen, only real issue I had was that it dove right in without much explanation of the relationship between Krennic and Urso. Helped reading the book Catalyst, otherwise I loved it. Yeah, I agree. The books definitely gave it a lot more depth on that. So, also we got the Carrie Fisher line, was just not needed. Hidden thing is fine. We got Bail Organa. I get that.
There were a lot of Easter eggs and just like characters that had nothing to do with the story that were just put in there. Like Bale, I don't think he even said anything. He just showed up.
He had a couple lines.
Looked at the cam. Oh, I don't think he had. Did he have any lines?
Yeah, he did. He spoke about Obi-Wan in when he spoke to Mon Mothma about I trust you with my life, that kind of stuff. He had a few lines, just enough to be there. But
there was like a lot of Rebels Easter eggs in there.
Oh yeah. You get to hear General Syndulla.
Syndulla, and there
Chopper was in there. Chopper
and Ghost
at the base. The Ghost is in there. Yeah. I like those, and that's what makes me laugh. I love those kind of Easter eggs. It's the other Easter eggs we'll talk about a little later, and I didn't like, but we'll get to there when we break down our points. Before we get into the rest of Rogue One, though, that's what the meat and the potatoes are. We do usually talk about the news of the week, and I want to thank Matty Gunner for curating the news this week from Star Wars News.net, and he tells me that there's not a lot of news to be had this week. So we'll just go through that really quickly, and then we'll get back into our breakdown of Rogue One. The first bit of news that we got, Katie Sackhoff said that on Alex Damon's charity stream for Amphar, they were told on set that the Jedi at the end of season 2 was going to be Plo Koon and not Luke Skywalker on Mandalorian. Obviously on Mandalorian. That is an interesting, funny way to do it. I mean, it doesn't surprise me because Plo Koon is one of Dave Filoni's favorites. Like his favorite Jedi. So if you're going to tell anybody, it almost makes sense that like Dave Filoni, if you're an actor, you go, well, Dave Filoni loves Plo Koon. Of course he's going to try to find a way to bring him back even though he's dead, right?
Yeah. That's what I wanted to ask. Wasn't he supposed to be dead, or is that just another Darth Maul kind of thing that he's actually alive?
He's dead. Okay. I think he's dead.
It did start a hashtag. It did start the hashtag Plo Koon lives for probably about 2 days.
No one's ever really dead in Star Wars or in MCU.
Mace Windu.
Mace Windu, exactly. Although Mace Windu's dead.
Maybe.
But I mean, Plo Koon definitely exploded on the ship. I don't know how. There's even less wiggle room than with Mace Windu, I think. So I don't think it's going to happen. But
Leia blew up in the cockpit, pretty much. Got sucked into space.
That's true, but there were no other ships around for Plo Koon to go to Mary Poppins too.
He could have just, because that was on a planet, he could have just,
He's dead.
he could have done the, what's the thing the Inquisitors do, like the chopper thing?
Lightsaber helicopters. Oh god, those things. To me, the fun part about the news bit is that like it kind of harkens back to when they used to do this all the time to prevent spoilers. Like back in Empire Strikes Back, like the only person who knew that Vader was Luke's father was George Lucas, director Irvin Kershner, and Mark Hamill. Everyone else on scene heard the line, Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father. Obi-Wan is your father. And like Obi-Wan was supposed to be like that was like the line they said. They had Obi-Wan being the father and everything else. So that was so to me it's like just kind of continuing the tradition, so to speak, and try to fool you around. So you never know what to believe. And Dan, I appreciate. Let me say, I appreciate a good pun. So he was blown up.
Dan is the master of puns. I've never met anyone that I can go like toe to toe with puns and like keep bringing them at me. Dan is the best. And real quick, I really want to do shout out Alex and Molly Damon for doing that stream. They got Katie Sackhoff was involved. Sam Witwer made an appearance. They were raising money for, I believe the charity was called AMFA, which was HIV and AIDS charity. It was really awesome of them to do that, and it just shows that in the Star Wars community there are really good people. Yeah. So shout out to Alex and Molly 100% for doing that.
They're good people. John gets Michael Myers was shot in the face, blown up in a hospital, stabbed in the eyes, and more, and still came back. Plo is fine. Could be. You never know. We're going to Star Wars horror series at some point, right? So, all right.
We got to shelve that idea for the after dark show.
Absolutely. Okay, Kenobi set video that was leaked seemingly confirms Tatooine as a location in the show. I mean, kind of definitely knew that already, but nice to get a little bit of view on things. I'll share the screen. That's not the button I want to hit.
It's kind of smart of them to, because everyone pretty much knows that Qui-Gon's going to be there. Everyone knows that Tatooine's going to be. They're like using the news that we already know, and they're revealing the stuff that we expected, so that people don't really sniff out the really big stuff. So they're sort of giving us the expected stuff. It's kind of like a smart move by them.
Yeah, let's see what you see here.
Can you turn it down just a bit?
Nope. There's no volume. It's muted or not. That's why they can't see anything. But it looks like Tatooine. It's not, again, like you said, it's nothing like earth shattering, but it is. It's just cool to see. Like I'm always happy to go back to Tatooine.
That looks kind of like a farmhouse to me.
Yeah.
I love that there's like plywood everywhere.
Yeah, definitely still not done. I'm not saying like the half done things, but like it's amazing how much detail they put in these things, right? Like all these different like things they have the side, the things like it's lived in. It looks lived in.
They had to have used the Mandalorian set because this looks like the first episode of season 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they reused some of the sets there. At least there some ideas behind the sets, even if they kind of pieced them together a little bit differently, maybe. Still being constructed, even though they're filming. Although, who knows when this video came in from, really? I mean, we don't really know, so.
I like that they're not just using the volume, though.
Yeah, I do too. I'm glad we're getting some physical aspects to it. That's what's cool.
Yeah. Practical sets always beats everything.
How many times has the bartender ever listened to that song? I don't know. That's a good question there, John. Probably way too many for him. It's like
that guy that comes in the bar and is like, all right, I'm going to put Don't Stop Believing on the jukebox. And the guy's like, oh, every drunken dickhead.
I used to watch, I used to be FYE, I used to play. I used to work at FYE and we used to have the playlists and stuff. So some songs, some movies just got like, oh, I can't, like to this day, I can't listen to them. If they come on, kind of as like visceral reaction. So I get that bartender's pain.
I think that was in the Blue Harvest episode of Family Guy as well.
That's right.
Play the same song. Okay, guys. Same song.
Right, we got it. All right, finally, the final bit of news we got to drop today is Stellan Skarsgård confirming he will be in Andor. That's good news for me. I love Stellan Skarsgård. I think it's a great actor. I did read that article about it at one point. I remember he said, like, it's good to be in a spaceship. He said that it does seem like in a way, it almost took a shot at Star Wars. I kind of felt like I was reading it, it was kind of like he wants to do this one because Tony Gilroy was involved, and Tony Gilroy gives a lot more depth, so it's not just plastic pieces falling down. He said so. It was almost like a little shot at some of the Star Wars in general, but he does like Tony Gilroy, does like Rogue One, and that's what we're talking about today, obviously. But I know Christian Harloff says it a lot. And everything else, good talent. If you get talent into an episode or into a show, into a project, then it can't hurt. And Stellan Skarsgård is a fun actor. He's a good actor. He's a powerful actor at times. So I don't know what he's playing necessarily, but I can't wait to find out. What are you guys? You guys into Stellan Skarsgård being an Andor or what?
Yeah,
Also,
I think.
Sorry.
Oh no, go on.
It's the title of the news article that kind of upsets me. Stellan Skarsgård on why he accepted the Cassian Andor role. Like if you get offered Star Wars, you fucking there's no accepting it. This is clear cut. You're taking it.
You better take it.
I don't think he's like an A-lister. He's not a leading man, so it's kind of like a weird title. Why did I accept Star Wars? I mean,
well, I think I think part of it is that the fact that like he's a serious actor, though. A lot of times, sometimes serious actors have to be convinced to do any kind of movie like that, like a Star Wars, or you get a superhero film, or whatever. Like Scorsese said it's not cinema, and so you need to get
he was in Thor and Avengers.
Exactly, but I mean, I feel like it almost be like the same type of thing. Like you'd have to accept doing that kind of thing. And he even said at some point he does things for his kids, like a lot of the old actors do. They'll do shit because I know I remember that's like Viggo Mortensen was like said he did the Lord of the Rings initially because of his kid, and he would have gotten his ass kicked if he had said no or something like that. Which would make sense to me. So. But I don't know. Either way, I'm happy he's in. That's good to know. So, all right. Without further ado, let's get back into Rogue One now. We do break it down. That's our new format. We do break down a couple different segments. We're just going to start right away with the we get the favorite performance of the film. Who wants to go first on this one?
I mean, I can take this one. I kind of alluded to it earlier on my Instagram. I am here today to give Donnie Yen every flower that he deserves, because Donnie Yen is, in my opinion, the most underrated actor in Hollywood. The dude is an absolute megastar, and in Rogue One, he proves that he can do what we expect Donnie Yen to do, from like hero, Flashpoint. He can be the martial arts master, but he can also do different things. He can be the philosopher, and he can also be the comic relief, because there's very few moments in movies that I can go back and like still make me laugh, no matter how many times that I watch it. But the bit where they put the bag over his head and he goes, "Are you kidding me? I'm blind." Still makes me laugh. When he shoves the pole into the stormtrooper's foot and he goes, "Is your foot all right?" I howled. Donnie Yen is. He's truly amazing, and his character Chirrut Imwe he's the closest thing to what a Jedi should be. He uses the Force in knowledge and defense, and he's constantly learning, and he's closer to what I feel the Jedi were than the Jedi we saw a few films ago.
What the Jedi should have been.
That's a great point. Go ahead, Jerry.
I keep cutting into both of you.
That's okay.
I have a question. Again, this is the rookie Jerry question here. Chirrut, I know he's not a Jedi. He's Force sensitive. He's a guardian of the Kyber crystals, or the Jedi
Guardians
Temple, right?
Guardians of the Wills,
right?
As they call it. Yep.
Why doesn't he get to use, like, can only Jedi use the lightsabers or not? Because I feel like his sort of rank and his position would warrant that he could use a lightsaber, because he looks adept with a staff. He knows the Force. He knows the Kyber crystals. Why didn't they give him a lightsaber, a laser sword?
It seems to me it's like Obi-Wan said, it's the weapon of a Jedi. That's what the lightsaber is. Weapon of a Jedi or a Sith. I think you have to be a Jedi to really be able to use it safely, because a Kyber crystal channel the Force through the Kyber crystal. I think, could a non-Jedi use a lightsaber? Sure. I mean, Han Solo used it briefly in Empire Strikes Back and everything else.
Finn used one.
But generally, what was that?
Finn used one.
Finn used one, yep. But generally speaking, I think that I almost feel like they don't feel like they're... Chirrut, especially as a guardian of the will, I feel like they really trust in the Force and love the Force and kind of like really respect the Jedi and everything else, I kind of feel like they don't feel themselves worthy enough. They wouldn't want to do that without becoming a Jedi. They feel like it's almost like I think it's almost like a military type thing, or you don't take the rank of a Jedi, you don't take the weapon of a Jedi without first becoming a Jedi. It's like wearing a black belt if you're not a black belt, that kind of thing. Like in a way, I think that's what
do it.
kind of exactly.
That big no.
But they said it themselves. There's nothing to guard here anymore. Everything they stood for is gone, and they're sort of just holding up the ideals. And I'm not saying he should have. I'm just wondering if he could have.
I'm sure he could have. I'm sure somebody did at some point over the if I found. I mean, there's somebody over the time found a lightsaber and used it. Whether they should have or not, that's the other question. But somebody who respects the Jedi like he does, he would never do it out of respect.
Yeah, and it's also a case of, and I'll go a bit more into it because it's when we get onto the bit of lore. The Guardians of the Wills, they lived like perfectly in the balance. Like they were neither dark nor light. They believed that you need both, and they kind of had respect for both the Jedi and the Sith.
Right.
Plus, they had their own weapon in the light what was it called? The light bow.
Yep.
They have their own weapon, so they're
the
probably
thing
just
that he
like,
uses.
Yeah.
Kind of weird. Yep.
So they're probably just like, look, we got a bow. Like, what do we need a sword for? We got a bow.
And Dan says he does not believe he's force sensitive, at least to the degree a Jedi should be. It is very tough to use a lightsaber. Whole process to earn a crystal and build a saber. Yeah, I think you get to earn it. But yeah, he is force sensitive, but not
he definitely
to that.
It is force sensitive because he says to Baze when he's about to die that look for me in the force.
Well,
and I think it's a different way.
He believes in the force. He definitely believes in the force. Whether he really fully, I mean, I do agree. I do think he is actually sensitive. He's just not. He'd be like a low sensitive. Like he wouldn't be able to be a Jedi. With
for sure. But there is something there because he sensed Jin right there. He sensed Jin's necklace. He pretty much he knows what's going on way more than just a blind man.
I agree. I agree. I think there's a little bit to him definitively, but yeah, I would also say real quick. This is actually you mentioned that. This was one of the things I was worried about when I came into this film initially. I was like, this is the first film without any real Jedi Sith stuff at all. This is the first one.
Oh,
in a way.
Is it though?
But then there isn't. And then when I was going into it, but having this was kind of like a nice teaser, a nice way to kind of still have it without like deeply having it.
We have a lightsaber igniting.
Oh, well, we do. We absolutely do. that happened later on in the film and later on in the process of the film. That was kind of a last minute addition, which is kind of funny, I feel, but it makes sense. I'll go. No, Jerry, go ahead. You go ahead. Who's your favorite performance, Jerry?
Dude, I'm still struggling because this movie is packed with amazing performances. First off, I told you guys before, I've been on a Mads Mikkelsen craze. I love everything that he's doing lately. He's getting so many great roles. He didn't get a lot to do in this one. He did have very meaningful moments, very emotional moments, but I keep going back to Diego Luna as Cassian, and he when we were talking about Kenobi versus the Cassian series, we were like, yeah, we want to see Kenobi. We're really not that excited for a Cassian series. More and more, I get the feeling that Cassian is one of the most interesting characters in Star Wars. He has such an interesting history. He hasn't been the guy who's done right by himself and others, but he's always been the one for the end game, like the end goal.
Right.
And his amazing moment when he's about to, when he needs to kill Galen, when he finally backs down and he realizes that this is not him. This is not what he's supposed to be doing. So I feel like Diego Luna as Cassian takes this. Although I feel like we'll get to the fist bump moment. I feel like Felicity Jones has the best acting moment in this.
Okay, fair enough. Real quick, we do have a Streamlab, so streamlabs.com/PLD projects, from Plo Koon himself, donated saying, "So I'm not dead, but I'm in hiding. I was very clever and changed my name to Old Ben Koon."
Oh, gosh.
Good to know, Plo. Appreciate you announcing your survival on PLD projects. We'll be looking forward to your next animated series or something.
I'm just stoked Plo Koon watches our show, man. That's awesome.
That's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool.
So who's your favorite performance, PLD? I feel like I know this, but
might. Although I would actually like you to read it. There's a couple I definitely wanted to highlight. Like I was like, I like this. I like Jones. I like Andor. I did like Donnie Yen. I really do want to highlight Ben Mendelsohn because I love Ben Mendelsohn and almost everything he does. I first saw Ben Mendelsohn in the Netflix show Bloodline, I think it was, and then
Yeah.
just, ever since then I've been kind of branching out, seeing all these things. He's such a charming, and I don't mean charming in a good way necessarily,
Mm-hmm.
because he just makes you want to watch him, even when he's an asshole and he's even evil and slimy, and he's
He's
good
a
at it.
charming version of a shit weasel. We need a new
Yes.
term for a charming shit weasel.
Yes. So I almost
Shit.
went him. Oh, what was that?
A shit eagle.
Shit eagle. Not my fault. That might work. I did want to highlight him. I do want to go. My favorite performance is going to be Alan Tudyk.
Yeah, I figured.
Alan Tudyk is K2SO. Makes the whole film for me, because the whole film is kind of a downer in a lot of ways. Obviously the ending's a downer. Cassian Andor is a downer. In general, he's just very depressed the whole time. Jones is a downer. Everybody, like Donnie Yen is not quite a downer, but he's still kind of like the situation he's in is kind of like, oh,
Saw is a downer. He's
Saw
a
is
big
a
downer.
downer,
He's
he's a
like
big
a
downer.
buzzkill.
They're all downers. So you need K2SO to lighten that tension just a little bit, just to lighten the moment, get you to smile, and get you to chuckle a little bit. And I love Alan Tudyk anyway, so as soon as I heard that he was announced in this movie, I was excited. And he actually got in there, got the stilts, and performed the whole thing.
Was that motion capture?
It was a little bit motion capture, at least part of it was motion
Okay.
capture,
Because
yeah.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge did L3. She was in there the whole time, and you can tell from the walk. I couldn't tell from the walk of K2, but I'm glad to hear that there was some motion
Yes.
capture.
He's always had such an acerbic wit, a very sarcastic, dry, like just way he just. It's so hard to explain without knowing it. I mean, I loved him in Firefly and Serenity. Loved him in Dollhouse. I don't know,
Knight's Tale.
Knight's Tale.
Knight's Tale
I know
was
it from
good in that,
Knight's
I know.
Tale as well.
That actually made me think. Like we've had Alan Tudyk, we've had Paul Bettany. Can you imagine if Heath Ledger had been in a Star Wars movie?
It would have been great.
He would have been a great fit.
Oh yeah, he would have worked really, really well. Really, and there. Oh wow, Dan. Yes, Alan Tudyk was also in Dodgeball.
Was he?
Yeah, he was Steve the Pirate.
Oh.
No idea.
Oh.
Yes,
No idea.
Steve the Pirate. Arr,
Wow.
that was Alan Tudyk. Just definitely got to rewatch Dodgeball.
I need to go. Yeah, I need to go back and watch Dodgeball again.
Yeah, same here.
He is good in that. So I love him. I think he's the most necessary performance in the film. Because without him, it's just a dour, sad shit, like sad sack day.
Keep going.
I think he got. I mean, it's a good film, but it's sad. So I think he is one of the most necessary performances. I'm so happy he's going to be involved in Andor, even if it's not till season 2, which I don't like. Or maybe that was a coy way. Maybe it's a coy way of saying that. I mean, he said he wasn't involved in season 1, so I don't. Maybe he was bullshitting us. I don't know, but either way, he'll be on our screen eventually again. That's all I care about. I want to see him back in action, especially because that was. The funny thing is, I should say this now. Like I bring up that he brought the fun to the show, he brought the smiles and everything else. Yet he had also had probably the most saddest death in the whole thing.
For sure.
Spoilers.
For sure.
He gets activated. Holy shit!
The way it's just when he's about to die, he's very much more droid-like than L3. He talks more robot-like, but he has these like humorous moments. But when he gets the lethal shot in, he says climb in such a destructive way that it destroys you inside. The way he just says climb, and it's over for him. It's sort of like, I don't know, the pace and the rhythm of how he says it is totally different from how he's been talking before.
Exactly. Ugh. K2SO, we stand you here. So, all right, let's move forward now to our favorite fist pump moments. Jarvie, tell me what a fist pump moment is. I know you like to discuss this. So
this is blatantly. The word.
Blatantly.
What am I looking for? Blatantly. Borrowed from action movie anatomy. This is what united me and PLD, and it's the moment where you're watching a movie, and you can't help but just fist pump and yell and say something. It's like, fuck yes, I get to watch the rest of the movie. This is the best part. I gotta hit up PLD, tell him to
What's up, Jarvis?
rewind to this perfect spot. I said rewind because I used to use VHS. I don't care. I don't care if you're at your grandma's funeral. Just go to the bathroom,
I'm the
crank the
pallbearer.
volume up, and just watch this moment.
I know. I love that part. I love a good fist bump moment. Thanks, Andrew, Guy, and Ben Bateman. We totally stole this from them, and if they ever actually watch my show, maybe they'll come down and yell at us for it. But I think they'd accept it. They understand. So, Jarvis, what was your fist pump moment?
I feel like the obvious one we just have to say when we talk about it together. I feel like the Darth Vader moment is the biggest moment that you were kind of expecting, but I have a very subtle one that I just discovered during this rewatch that I just completed, and it's a weird moment. First one is where Karabast is yelling "Yadat." it's like the first time I think we've ever actually had anyone pronounce it "Adat" and not AT&T, because I feel like
AT&T
or whatever it is.
AT&T's a totally, that's like cellular phone company. I don't think they're in Star Wars. Maybe.
Yeah, AT&T. For some reason, I rewound that moment many times. It's just too hilarious. Also, the other guy, what's the space monkey's name? Biston or something.
Biston, yep.
Biston. When he's like blasting his railgun on the ship and just nonsensical stuff like it cracks me up. These two very dumb moments. Of course, my favorite is the Darth Vader scene, but these are the ones that kind of stuck with me that I didn't notice before.
Real quick, I just want to say, Dan, can I say the whole third act is the best fist pump moment? He's not wrong. He's not wrong. I mean, that's honestly, I think, before I'll get to yours in a second, and I'll get back to mine in a second, Maddie, I will say that is kind of the overall viewing of this film, is that some people don't like the first and second act as much. Like, that's always kind of like questionable to some people. But the third act is almost universally thought of as like an amazing moment in Star Wars, probably one of the best battles in the whole franchise throughout. And there's a lot of little Easter eggs in that as well. So the third act is pretty universally praised. So I cannot deny that would be a good fist pump moment.
Just real quick, the moment that made me want to pick Felicity Jones is the moment where she sees a hologram of Galen Erso, like her father, and that moment when she breaks down, hearing his words, and he ends up she sort of falls to her knees, and there's almost like a gag reflex, or like she's so overwhelmed that but it doesn't quite happen. That moment almost made me pick Felicity Jones as my favorite.
I totally get that. That is a really powerful moment, and she's a fun to laugh. You don't always get a great opportunity in Star Wars films to show an acting performance in a way, because there's a lot of cartoon to it, there's a lot of sci-fi to it, there's a lot of fantasy and adventure to it. But that was a moment that she snuck in that was very, very cool, I will say. Real quick, we got on Streamlab this time from Saul Guerrera. Saul Guerrera's watching our show as well, impressively enough. He says, I'm not a downer, but they interrupted me.
Go and read it. So.
And Paul Cullen's passionate lovemaking, so I was a bit cranky and waiting for them to leave. Wow, so him and Borgullet, passionate lovemaking. That's a totally Star Wars After Dark they're going to have to make at some point. Disney X Plus. That's what we'll do.
X Plus.
At that point. And real quick, John Getz saying when the Rebel fleet came out of hyperspace, it was feeling like crazy. Best space battle showing bombers and everything, 100%. When that Rebel Force came, absolutely, it was a big fist pump moment. Especially when you saw like the pilots from Episode 4, Red Leader and everything else. Like they used the old footage and stuff.
And you can tell that's the old footage. You can tell from the lighting.
You don't care though. You don't care.
No,
You're that's
perfect.
cool. That's perfect. I love it.
Anyone that complained about that just has no heart.
Yeah, it's just like that was a good fist pump moment.
And they almost committed to another trench run, which I'm kind of glad they didn't. There's almost like a moment where they fly inside the gate again and sort of do us like, oh no, don't give us that again, and they kind of don't.
Yeah, that's good. All right, Maddie, what was your fist pump moment?
It's kind of related to Jarvis actually, and I want to give an honorable mention to Darth Vader coming through with the puns. I didn't know he had it in him. Be careful.
Vader?
He could have done better though.
Choke on your aspirations. Love it. Awesome. But my fist pump moment. Yeah, shout out to Dan Bettenhausen. I'm sure he would love that. But mine was seeing Vader's castle on Mustafar.
I wish we got more.
Funny you say that, Javi. It's funny you should say that.
Yeah, I'm gonna
'Cause
have to read it. You might. Yeah, I'm gonna say the same thing. Funny you say that. So we might we have a little issue later on, Gunner, but we'll get there, I guess.
Okay.
That's autumn.
But
Ganging up on me, eh?
it was like I've seen it in the comics, but it was cool like seeing it on screen for the first time.
Yeah.
Because that's where he fought Darth Maul in the comics, and a little bit biased coming here, Darth Maul beat the shit out of him inside his own castle. And I think, and I would have a funny feeling POD is about to disagree with me on this, I think that's where the rematch between him and Obi-Wan Kenobi is going to take place, inside that very room where he was choking Krennic. I think that's where they're going to meet each other, and then that's where it's going to kick off.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree, but I don't know if I disagree yet. I'm not one who says that Obi-Wan has. I am not a person who says that Obi-Wan has to stay on Tatooine the whole time. There's arguments about that. I've never said that. I've always thought that, like, just because he's watching over to Luke, it doesn't mean he has to. Like, I'm a parent. I leave my kid home alone every once in a while. It's not like that. I mean, my kid's 14, 15, 19. You're not leaving him alone.
You go outside.
Exactly. And he's leaving him with Owen and Beru. It's not like he's like leaving him by himself in like the with the ghost of Qui-Gon Jinn or anything like that. He's going up. So him leaving the planet every once in a great while, that doesn't do much.
Just looking for some entertainment on some shady worlds.
Yeah,
Again, we gotta
absolutely.
save these for the After Dark show.
That's true. Real quick, I was going to say, yeah. Honestly, I didn't notice the old cockbook footage the first time. That's interesting. And Dan saying he liked the puns, but it was hard hearing the age in James Earl Jones's voice. Didn't have quite the same impact. I agree, but to me, that falls under the line of the digital Tarkin and Leia for me. Like, I know James Earl Jones is 80, whatever. He's old man now. He's not gonna say. I'd rather have James Earl Jones doing it, sounding old and having less of an impact, than having an impersonator do it while we have James Earl Jones around. There's gonna come a time, obviously, when James Earl Jones passes. He's not a young man anymore, and they're gonna have Darth Vader like impersonators or whatever do it.
How is his voice done in Rebels?
No, it is James Earl Jones. He's done. He does.
Is it? Oh, I
Rebels.
figured that was someone else like doing an amazing job of him already. I didn't think he was doing TV.
Yeah. Nope. He will do that as well when he can. So, yep. I'm glad he did the voice too. I get it. I'm not saying it's. I mean, I totally see your point, Dan. It definitely is a little bit rougher, a little bit a little weaker, not quite as like resonant, but it is what it is. So okay. Fist pump moment. Back to fist pump moments. You have anything else you want to say on that, Maddie? You're good.
Nah, it was just cool seeing the castle.
Okay, that was cool too. I did like the castle as well. My fist pump moment, we already mentioned a lot of it. Obviously, I think it's fun. I think almost everybody says Vader, and it is. I'm not, but I always feel like everybody also, when they say what's your favorite part, they almost like it's like I assume it's Vader. So what else did you like?
Exactly.
So I did the same thing. Mine was a small one, but it drew me into the film very quickly. When I came in, not that I wasn't ready to be in the film, but I needed a little bit of a pull in. And it's when Cassian Andor kills the informant.
Yes.
Right in the beginning. Also, he comes up, blasts him, and you're like, oh,
it feels so bad immediately.
This is this kind of movie. Like, this is our good guy, and he's out there killing an informant. Like, who's scared for his life, right? It's like, all of a sudden, I gotta go. Just come here.
And from like behind him as well, it sort of shoots him in the back.
That was an Ethan Hunt moment for sure.
Yes. So that was one of my fist pumps. I remember I was like, ooh, I actually literally did like clench my fist and go, ooh, that's cool. That's where we're going now with this. It's a small moment, but it was one of my favorites. Dan, another good one from Dan though. Cannot forget the Hammerhead Corvette right with the Star Destroyers into each other. That was pretty cool. That was damn cool. K2SO in general is a fist pump, by the way. Just everything K2SO said, a lot of his humor moments was great. Seeing Bail Organa was another nice little moment. But yeah, a lot of fist. I had a lot of fist pump moments in that.
We should talk about the Vader moment as well, because I feel like this was the obvious one.
Yeah, we could do that.
But something that we still should discuss.
You're right. You're not wrong. Let's get it down. This is obviously a scene that was inserted later on.
Was it?
It was not planned originally. I'm not even sure. I don't remember the story about why it was added. I think somebody kind of came up with it like toward the last minute and said, "Oh yeah, let's just do it." So it happens, and you get the it's like the most memorable scene in the film.
In all of Star Wars, almost. I feel like this moment is iconic.
Yeah,
in
I mean,
every way.
it was copied in Mandalorian pretty much from the other side. We had to see Luke doing the moment
Yeah.
in Mandalorian pretty much. You have it, going down. You never got a chance to see in the original trilogy. We never really got a chance to see Vader at his full potential per se, like wrecking shop. And he had to fight against Obi-Wan, which was kind of like an old man fight. Fight against Luke was good. It was great. It was a good fight. But I feel like you never got to see Darth like at his most terrifying, like just cutting down people left and right. And that's what we get here. The darkness, the red lights, the atmosphere, the fear in the rebels' eyes, and you just hear the breathing, and the lightsaber just ignites, and you're like, "Oh fuck!"
It's a horror
it's
movie
a-
moment, dude. It's a
It
horror movie.
is.
Like, you're in the dark. Like, what are we all afraid of as children? Is the dark.
It's that
And
monster.
you
The
have
dark.
you have all these rebels there that are like, okay, there's something there, but we don't know what it is. We don't know where it is. And then you just see the red blade, and it's like, oh,
Oh,
shit,
shit.
we're fucked.
Oh,
And he's just cutting through. They're giving the disc like from one hand to the other, one door to the next door. He just keeps coming at it. It's crazy, and it feels like just one hand, just stopping that. And there's a really cool moment when he kind of chokes the guy into the ceiling, and then uses the sabers in.
Oh, sick.
Oh god, it's such a badass moment. It's a
like as
fanboy
soon
moment
as-
for sure. But like,
It is, and as soon as you see the interior, the white interior of the ship, you sort of
Right.
know that it's coming, and you're like, yes, this is from A New
Yes.
Hope. You know, this part is probably coming up because fans were talking about this. I remember I was watching, I think it was Sith Council, and Christian was talking like, we as fans need that moment of Darth Vader where it's just wrecking shop.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, Tim, good point there too. The music is perfect too. It's like the slow down choral version of Imperial March. That's true. And I should mention the music. Obviously, the first time we had a Star Wars movie without John Williams.
Giacchino, if I'm not mistaken.
It's Michael Giacchino, and the worst part about it is that he was given like 2 weeks, like because they had, I believe it was Alexander Desplat was originally going to do it,
Yeah.
and then I don't ever remember hearing the story of exactly why he dropped out or what happened, but with like 2 or 3 weeks notice, like Michael Giacchino had to come in and pinch it, and some people didn't like the score, but I'm like. The guy had 2 to 3 weeks and came up with Rogue One stuff, and I gotta tell you, there's some really good themes in there.
There is.
I mean, it's not John Williams, but I mean, who's going to beat John Williams? No one's going to beat John Williams. Shut up, Jarvie. No one's going to beat John Williams.
John
Shut up,
Williams,
Jarvie.
that hack. Okay, I'm kidding.
That's a throwback to class action.
Jarvie would have Hans Zimmer do it if he
You
could.
would?
Ooh. Now, actually, interestingly enough, I wouldn't think Hans Zimmer would be a good choice for a Star Wars movie. His style is different. Maybe if we get like really sort of weird Star Wars spin-offs down the line, way into the future. But at this moment, I don't feel like he has this quality about his score. That's not Star Wars. I don't know. I don't need him in Star Wars.
Fair enough. But Giacchino does great. He quotes Star Wars enough at the right time for the most part. He knows when to quote the themes, when not to quote the themes. He has some great moments. Him and his themes with Felicity Jones were really well done. I was pretty impressed over it. I could put it on and just with any of the Star Wars stuff and be just as thrilled. So, John Guest says he wasn't crazy about the music. Couple of overly callbacky moments. Yeah, I get that. But overall,
It is very rewatchable, and I feel like this is what Disney did best. Because I do love the episodic movies always, but I feel like Disney does the spin-off movies best,
yeah, so far so good.
even with Solo.
I will. Yeah, I like Solo. Absolutely talk about Solo. I love Solo. Tim saying here, David Collins break it down the score and appreciate it. And no one really likes it. I'll have to see that because I like David Collins. He works with Lucasfilm a lot on scores and soundtracks and things like that. I'd like to hear that breakdown. That's one thing I haven't actually got a chance to listen to. For Mike, Crimson Tide is a good, great in a Star Wars movie. You're not wrong.
Oh, that's Hans Zimmer.
That he knows, and that's what it is. So good stuff there. Alan Smith, the score is amazing. It's a more sad and dramatic version of a Star Wars score. It's all these people are going to die version of Williams. Makes sense, man. Makes a lot of sense. It's true. Again, like I said, I think the time that Giacchino had, makes me impressed. Makes me like it even more. Because like I almost wish Giacchino would get like a full, like a normal. Here you go. You're gonna score this movie a couple months to go through it. That kind of thing. See what he comes up with. Because if this is what he comes up with in 3 weeks or 2 or 3 weeks, hey, give him a shot, boys. Give him a shot, boys. Although on the other hand,
what Danny Elfman would do. What Danny Elfman would do for a Star Wars score.
Weird. That'd be a weird one. But maybe it could be brilliant. Could be shit, but it could be brilliant. Although you know who I really want to see get a shot is Kevin Kiner from the animated series, because he seems to have a very good handle on the music with Star Wars. Yeah. So with Dave Filoni I would be surprised if Dave Filoni is his first live action film, if he ever gets one. Kevin Kiner does a score for him. I wouldn't be surprised at all, because they've worked together really closely now. So. All right, those were our fist pump moments. Now let's go shift back a little bit. Go to our least favorite part. I'll set this right up. I'll say that we are not a negative Star Wars channel. We like to celebrate the positivity of Star Wars. We're not going to be a toxic thing going into all sorts of like dark and dirty details, but nothing's perfect. So everybody can have a little bit of some negative side to it and still love the franchise and still love it, as long as we're all respectful about it. So with that, we will touch on some of our least favorite moments of this film. I'll start on this one. This is actually a difficult one because there wasn't anything I outright didn't like very much. Like, it seemed like at worst it was like inoffensive, or I just didn't care about it. Some things, but the one part I didn't like, I think I mentioned this actually last week, I believe. I want to say it was our last show. I think it was the pop up of Ponda Baba and Dr. Evison in Rogue One on Jeddah. That just annoyed the fuck out of me, because it was such a look at me moment that just didn't make a lot of sense. Like the callbacks to Easter eggs that we had, like we talked about the X-Wing fighters pilots, those are perfect. It made sense. It was perfectly placed. It drew you in. It was part of the film. Bail Organa being there, hearing Captain Syndulla on the speaker, seeing Chopper, those all make sense. That exactly fits in. Evazan and Ponda Baba, who were supposed to be in Tatooine in a couple hours, because they were in Tatooine a couple hours later on from this film. I mean, obviously, yes, they could have escaped. They could have walked from. They could have seen them in Jeddah. They could have been going to their ship to go to Tatooine.
I think he even said he was in a hurry or something.
Maybe.
No. That's Jin. That's Jin.
Yeah, that's Jin. Yeah. So like the whole thing is like it doesn't make any sense. It's a total big here. Oh, look at this guy. You remember these guys? And it just took me right out and annoyed the fuck out of me. I actually would, if I had a choice, I would take it completely out of the film. I would just not have that in the film at all. Likewise, I get some people will argue that 3PO and R2 were the same thing for them, but
that was endearing. I feel like
that was something I was okay with, like, because it was almost as bad of a here I am moment. But in a way, that was more of like a wink and nod, like, because they had been in every film so far. So it was like, well, we got to get them in somehow. We'll just throw them a little bone there, and they're at Rebel base. That makes sense. That's fine, kind of thing. Comparison, I get it's almost hypocritical for me to like one and not like the other. But I felt like the Ponda Baba and Evazan one was just too much out there, too much inside baseball. Just not done right. So.
They kind of have to. Well, they don't have to be in a movie, but it's sort of like the same thing that always the line, "I have a bad feeling about this," is in pretty much every Star Wars movie. Because you said it yourself, and George Lucas has said it himself, that it's all from the point of view of 3PO and R2.
Yeah. That's
so
a good
they're
point.
Always in the background.
There you go. Well, Tim said the R2 and 3PO one doesn't work for me. They're meant to be on a ship where we've already heard he's left. I'd preferred seeing them in the hallway right before the little Leia moment. They could have just been next to Leia in the final scene. Absolutely.
That's not a bad idea. Yep.
Absolutely. You know what? That probably would have been better. I completely agree with you guys. Good points. That would have been better. Was better served. I guess I was just saying that in comparison to the Ponda Baba and Evazan scene. I didn't mind that one as much. But you're right. Those are both excellent points. What about you, Maddie? What about your least favorite part?
Chirrut Imwe dying. Didn't like it. Nope. I get why he went out the way he went out. You know, he's like, I'm one with the Force is with me. He's like walking out, and he's finally, the Force is with him. Like, he's believed for so long, and he's finally getting his enlightenment moment, and he's going to hit the master switch. But I was just like, yeah, man, he's a really cool character that you could have done so much more with, and you just kill him off in the first installation that we see him in. I was like, that didn't sit with me too well. I get it, but for me, there's not a lot of moments that really bug me about this movie. It's, as I said, it's in my top 3, so it was really hard for me to pick a least favorite moment, but that's the one that kind of, I was like, come on, like you could have done so much more with him, and you just kill him off the first movie that we see him in. Nah, that wasn't cool with me. Same with Maul.
We kind of knew the fact that like, even knowing that everyone's probably going to die, because even if before the movie came out, I think it was Disney that said that this is going to be a suicide mission type thing, and we knew the overall story as well. But still, I do agree with you. It still hurts. Hurts because you're still rooting for him.
Yeah.
Baze and Chirrut prequel series.
I'd watch the hell out of that.
I agree. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
If it was Donnie Yen, you got me there.
I think we're more likely, honestly. I always kind of hedge my bets. I feel like I do this because I don't want to get too excited. I kind of feel like that's more likely to be like an animated thing. They've already got Andor coming out as a live action thing.
What about Cassian? Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. That to me makes it even more likely that Baze and Chirrut would be an animated thing, because I don't think we'd have like 2 or 3 prequels to Rogue One in live action. That's my own thought process. I could be wrong. I mean, I'll be completely honest. If I had my choice right now, Andor or Baze and Chirrut series, I would have chosen the Baze and Chirrut series.
Yeah, me too. Honestly, me too.
And I actually do like Andor, and I'm actually getting more and more excited about the Andor series, but... Call back from last episode. Maybe we'll come back to Chirrut. Could be. Very good.
John's always got to make a joke out of the characters that I enjoyed dying. He did it with Maul. Now he's doing it with Chirrut.
That's what John does to you. And that's okay. I'm here for it, to be honest with you. All right. What about you guys on this? As far as I'm sorry, Jarvie, the least favorite part.
I was like, did you forget my name? What about, what's the fucker's name? You guys. Come on.
No, I was actually kind of going, we talked about Maddie. Do we have any more from Maddie? No, we got to move to Jarvie. I was like in my head kind of doing things as I'm going through.
So my least favorite part is probably, you guys probably, I know what you're going to try and debunk this with, but I couldn't quite understand why Saw kind of went out the way he did. I know there's a lot of backstory to him, and he's been in Rebels and stuff like that, and we get to know that he's demons and blah, blah, blah. But this is a live-action Star Wars movie. I want to know in this movie what really made him stay, because there is no reason really. Just get on the ship with Jin. Just get out. Sure, he goes out. I didn't quite feel that his character was developed enough, and I didn't really feel for anything for him when he died. And I feel like, because I know a lot of people have problems with this, like, but I thought it was kind of quirky and cool the way he portrayed Saw. And I wanted more. I wanted some more painful moments. What happened to him? Why he feels like he has to die now? He could have gone on the freaking mission and sacrificed himself there. Be more of a help than just like going out watching the freaking city blow up.
I get what you're saying about that. I gotta be honest. I won't push back too much on that. John actually has a good point. There's a cool book called Rebel Rising, which has a lot of experience of Saw and Jin together. It's basically how Saw raised Jin in a way. And I kind of got enough from the film that he was just, at this point, an old man from the Clone Wars who's just tired of running, tired of fighting, tired of doing everything.
Well, then retire. Why do you gotta die there?
Well, because I think he's the kind of guy, like, that's all he knew. Like, for a long time, always known as fighting. So, like, if he didn't fight, there's no retirement. Like, it's fight or die, and, like, he's just tired of fighting, so it's all done. Yeah. But I get what you're saying. There was a time when kind of like, when he goes, "Run, get out of there," and she's like, "Come on," and he's like, "No, I'm just gonna sit here." And that was it's a little weird, I guess. That's a good point. Maybe he just couldn't run fast enough to get to the ship. He's obviously broken down. He's having the asthma thing. He has to breathe a lot and everything else. I mean, who knows? A lot of different ways to go. But I understand what you're saying. And,
those slow ass ones. Yeah, he's got the slow foot.
The slow foot. It sounds like a
big one.
disease. That's a good disease. Oh, don't worry about him. He's got the slow foot.
No, guys, like, you want to come with us? No,
Nope.
got the slow foot.
Not the slow foot. God, that's catching.
The slow foot.
That's catching. We
Like
can't have
one
the slow
step
foot
up
of the
from the
ship.
gout. Like you get the gout and then you get slow foot.
Make sure we get back. We check. Make sure we didn't catch the slow foot. We gotta catch that early. If you don't catch it early, it becomes a slow knee, slow leg. It's not good. We're going off the rails. We're going a little bit off the rails. That's all right. All right, let's move on to the favorite bit of lore. The favorite bit of lore. I'm interested to see what you have to say about this one, Maddie.
Okay. Go on.
Go ahead.
Oh, you want me to go first?
I'm interested to hear what you have to say.
Well, mine was finding that there was another, obviously not Force users, because the Guardians, they don't really use the Force. They just kind of believe it and they sense it. They can't do like the Force push and all that kind of stuff. But finding out that there was another sect, like another religion, another order, other than the Jedi and the Sith, I always thought that was really interesting. And finding out that they do live perfectly in balance. In fact, it's their core principle that without the light, like without dark, you can't have the light. And that like we've all heard Freddie Prinze Jr.'s incredible rant that he went on, which was 100% right. Like you can't have too much of one was their core belief. Like there has to be perfect balance. And
Right.
that always kind of sat with me, because if you think about just us as people, you know, we all have a light side, we all have a dark side, and then it's just taking that out into a broader vision, and that really sat with me.
Mine's kind of the same thing, and it's about what it's about Jeddah and everything about, like, because it used to be like, because even the city's name, like Jeddah, I think it comes from Jedi, right?
Right, it's something unrelated.
And there was even a shot where I think there was supposed to be like a big statue there or something, right? Because you see it kind of on its side. You can tell that there's so much history to that place. The city itself sort of looks like. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did the statue be in the city that is now like walled off, or was it somewhere else, or is that still?
I believe it was in the city, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So
yeah, my favorite bit of lore was more focused on the city itself, Jeddah, because was that one of the first or the like the biggest Jedi temples, or because I know the significance of it was kind of huge.
No, not the first, but definitely was an ancient Jedi temple. Probably one of the first, if nothing else. Maybe where a lot of the Jedi came from. Maybe it was the biggest temple of the time. We don't know a whole lot of the history about the temple, I don't think. At least not that I've read yet. Unless there's something I've missed. Somebody in the chat can tell me if they've read more. But yeah, I agree with that. I love to hear more about Jeddah. It's kind of funny, they're kind of connected, the Jeddah and the Guardians of the Wills. I don't know if the Guardians of the Wills on other planets. We don't really know much about it. Are they all centered on Jeddah? Or was there other like sects elsewhere? I mean, I don't know. Those are both great bits of lore, though, that were added. That could be true. Wasn't the outside and the flyby of the city. It could be right outside the city gates. That could be as well.
There was a little comic run. It didn't go too much into them, but it was actually on Jeddah, and
Yep.
our guy Hondo actually showed up and got his ass beat by Chirrut. But again, like Paul said, it's something that Jeddah hasn't really been, hasn't really
full
gone
on.
into that much.
Right.
And I kind of like that.
Yeah, I like that too. Up there. Get a little too late for me. Oh, let's look at that light coming through. Oh, well, what do we do?
Come on, it's the light. Let the light in.
I'm dark
It's
side.
the light side.
I'm dark side. I can't do that.
It went to the light because it was there.
That's right.
I can still feel it. The pull to the light.
There you go. But okay, going back to my favorite bit of the lore, actually was Darth Vader's castle. I
Yes.
love Darth Vader's castle. We've heard about it. We saw it. We saw the planet. Like obviously Mustafar. You see it like when they're coming. You're like, oh shit.
Is that
that's where we're
Mustafar?
going. That's Mustafar.
Okay.
That's where he made his planet, where Darth Vader was born, so to speak, in a way. and I loved just a tease of it because we've heard a little bit about it before, but not a whole lot. Seeing it on screen for the first time, oh man, that was great to see. It actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to combine myself here. I'm going to go. That's my favorite bit of lore. I'm going to go right into what I want to see further explored because that's actually what I want to see further explored. I want to see how that was built. I want to see who that guy is, who his attendant is. How funny it would have been if that was Kitster. I mean, I know it's not because he's a old
Oh,
crusty
do you mean
white
the
guy.
hooded guy?
Yeah, the guy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Kitster. He was a wizard. Every time he yells, that's just funny. That's just my own like. But I would love to see actually more about that. Who is that guy? Where did he get his acolyte from? What else is going on there? Is that big castle just for him? Does he have other stuff going on there? How much in depth is there? How many times does he go outside of his mask to try to refine himself in there? There's a lot of things you could actually just get to explore. Exactly, Zach. Exactly. On a house tour, why does he need all that space? It's one guy, right?
And MTV Cribs with Darth Vader.
The acolyte. Exactly, man. So I want to see what else is in there. What are we missing?
I can tell you a little bit. I know a little bit about it because, like, from reading the comic, it's built on top of an old Sith cave,
Yep,
and it was actually constructed from the consciousness of, I can't remember and it was another Sith, but I can't remember another Sith's name. But there was a Mustafarian uprising while it was being built, and Vader had to deal with that. So, like you said, seeing more of that could be cool. Like Vader getting there at first and being like, right, make my base here, and then people Mustafar being like, no, we don't want you here. Get the fuck away.
And Vader says, fuck off. New tax, what for? So Lord Vader can build, staff, and air condition a castle on Mustafar.
I kind of want to see his holocron collection.
Yeah, absolutely. More you could do. I think there's a lot. I think there's a lot of stuff you could figure out there. I don't know how you would do it necessarily. Whether it be like a week like Vader series, where Vader just comes king of the castle, or is it like a series, or is it one of those things you do without Vader? Like Vader's never around. It's just what happens to the castle when Vader's not around. Like the acolyte leads it. Every once in a while, like the season finale comes around and Vader's coming. Oh man, he's coming home. Clean it up. Clean it up. We gotta make this look good.
Like a Star Wars version of Risky Business.
Exactly.
I want to see him slide in.
Got a hooker. The space hooker came. Like the Twi'lek space hooker came and took one of the holocrons because he didn't have enough money.
I know no, kind of the timetable doesn't work, but it would be awesome to see someone named Liam kind of party up when Vader's away.
Oh my god!
You and Liam.
Liam's back, baby, and he's hosting a party at Darth Vader.
Maybe that's who the acolyte is. The old crusty white guy is actually Liam. Coming up, got a little bit more.
Well, fucker.
Could you imagine? Well, I'd love it if like they go into like a Sith shrine and they do like an MTV Cribs. And like Vader walks into like this old Sith shrine, and he turns around and goes, "This is where the magic happens."
Right.
Darth that's the guy. That's it.
That's the guy you're talking about, Darth Moment.
Yeah.
Do you think he's into some light chucking?
He's got a sweet home theater in there for sure. Probably. I bet he does. And Snoke style golden road, that would be funny. Yes.
That's the next thing we're writing.
Thank you, Zach. As always, good to have a collaboration here with all you people. Thanks for stopping in, guys. I appreciate you guys just checking us out for a little bit. Talking about Rogue One. We do try to do this every week. We're going to try to break down a film. We're going to eventually get into the Clone Wars arcs, the Rebels arcs. Mandalorian will do as well. We're going to try to do these as much as you guys appreciate it. So I just appreciate you guys stopping in. And people who've donated, both Plo Koon and Saw Gerrera, I appreciate you watching the show and donating for your questions, as always. We do actually have, speaking of that, we got a couple of donations in here, both from Dan Bettenhausen. Thank you very much, my friend. Dan donated twice. The first time says, one person who does not get enough respect is Bodhi Rook. He is probably the most important and heroic person in the film. Riz Ahmed does great with so little. That is awesome.
Yes, sir.
That is very much a very solid point from Dan Bettenhausen. He doesn't have a lot of screen time, but he does do a lot with little. At the very end there, and he sacrifices himself. It's a very touching, powerful moment, for Galen. Very good, very, very solid moment. He found, like I said before about the acting moments that Felicity found, he found his acting moments in there as well. So completely agree there.
He's doing great as well. He's new movie. No, it's not that new. Sound of Metal.
Sound of Metal.
Where he's being nominated for an Oscar, and it's so deserved. He's
I agree.
freaking awesome.
And and Dan also donated just now and said, "It is my theory that Kumail Nanjiani is playing Kitster in the Obi-Wan series." Oh, Dan, you just stole my heart with that one. You just stole my heart with that one. That would make a lot of sense. The grown-up Kitster that Obi-Wan has to deal with. Remember, where's little Annie?
Oh, that guy. Okay.
Oh my god.
That'd be great. So great. So good.
Wow.
I want to see him do the dance then that they did. Like,
I ain't
he's
doing
still
it.
into pod racing, or he's kind of like the Michael Schumacher of pod
Right.
racing over there.
Oh man.
Oh,
All
we
right.
could get a like a spin-off pod racing movie, sort of like Rush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want a Ford v Ferrari like pod racer style movie so bad. So bad. And even put Christian Bale in it. It'd be amazing.
And Matt Damon.
Are we gonna have Zemo in Star Wars? We're gonna do Rush. We do Zemo in Star Wars. You can dance to the.
Yeah. Yep.
Speak louder.
Put Zemo in the cantina.
Just there, just like do 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 do.
Oh, someone's got to make that video.
Someone has. There's a Twitter account called Zemo Dancing, and someone has put it to the cantina music. It's fucking
That's
brilliant.
awesome. That's awesome.
So I've
Check.
got a few. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Say Dan says more PLD dancing. Check. That's a. I dance for money. You know, every time somebody donates, I'll start dancing. That's what we have to have happen. Go ahead. So go ahead there.
So I've got a few would you rather's for this week. Two of them. So you guys ready if I hit you up with some? You
Yeah,
guys can
yeah,
play along
good.
in the chat as well. First off, who would you rather save? K2 or L3?
K2
K2.
in a heartbeat.
That easy.
Yeah,
That easy for me. That easy for me. L3 was good, and I there's a lot of people who don't like L3. I'm not one of those people who doesn't like L3, but I definitely prefer K2. I think L3 has her moment, but K2 is just more. I like the buddy cop thing they got going on there with Cassidy and K2. I like that angle, so I like having K2 as that like kind of like sarcastic, almost dark side humor in a way that seems to be missing from some of the things in a way. I do think that K2 is a much more fun robot to have around.
Yeah,
I
you
feel
could,
like
you
it's-
could get away
sorry.
with not having L3. Like and Zach mentioned it in the chat, has the best navigational maps in the galaxy. You could
True.
find another way around that point.
L3 is on the Falcon now. She's actually not unsaved. Her navigational maps are in the Falcon now, so we're okay at that point. Although
You can always save a droid, pretty much. You could save K2 and find a story loophole, whatever. 'Cause
Yeah.
the droid is pretty much just data.
Yeah, pretty much. That's true. And yes, I'll say it right now. I got donated enough. I do love jizz. Music.
What?
Jizz music.
Elaborate.
That's what that's called. The figuring
Jizz
that cantina music. That style of music is called jizz music in Star Wars
Why?
because that's what they named it.
They were just like, it's like jazz, so let's just take one letter out and put it in another. All right, let's go with jizz. Well, I don't think they knew at the time what that actually
Or
meant.
they absolutely did know at the time and wanted to do the wink wink.
Could do.
Nod, nod.
How
I
many
don't know.
babies do you think were made to the cantina music at like
Oof.
Star Wars Celebration or something?
Jizz for jizz. Here we go.
How many kids were not made when some dude put that on? This is a bigger question.
Wow.
How many moods were killed? Because, yeah.
All right. You got another would you rather?
Got a broader one for you.
Okay.
Would you rather be adept and could use a lightsaber with no force, or would you rather be a force wielder and not have a lightsaber or know how to wield a lightsaber?
It's easy for me too. I'm gonna be a force wielder because you can do a lot more with the force, and you could probably learn a lightsaber eventually if you wanted to.
No, but that's sort of, if you pick one, you can't have the other one.
Okay, I'd rather do the. I think the force wielding, especially in if you're talking about in this life here, force wielding comes a lot more handy in real life than wielding a lightsaber does. Wielding a lightsaber would be cool. I'll tell you that much. I will agree with that. but
Exactly.
Force wielding is magic. Give me force wielding any day. Be able to force choke somebody, be able to go. You do owe me $5 million. You do owe me $5 million. I'm Darth.
We'll donate in Streamlabs.
You will donate to Streamlabs.
What about you, Maddie?
Oh, mine's easy. Force wielder. I already know how to fight. So
Yeah.
You can't use. Okay, you're armless if you're a Force user. You can't use a lightsaber.
I don't need a lightsaber. Like
Okay.
I just beat the shit out of a dude. Just pull him in, choke him, put him in a Kimura, a Force Kimura.
You don't need to pull a dude in. Just force choke him. There you go.
Exactly. Give me 3 to 7 seconds. That's all I need with a Force choke.
Real quick, John got saying because George is a nerd and didn't know what it meant. Probably that could be true. And this is actually not a fun moment, but a good point that Zach makes, and William Bibiani brings up all the time. It's a dark moment that L3, who's fighting for like freedom for robots, at the end of her story, she's like a slave forever in the Falcon. It's kind of a dark end to her story. It is a little true. That is true.
I never thought of it like that.
Yep.
Like, not only is she made a prisoner, but like that's like exactly the antithesis of everything she ever wanted. It is a little sad.
Ever took her out?
As far as we know, she was put in the Falcon, and that's it. That's why That's why the Falcon's a good ship now at this point. Maybe we have to be somewhere in Solo 2 or the series or Lando. Maybe we'll figure out some way that she can either be taken out or made that she's okay with her lot in life. I don't know.
That took a dark turn.
Take a dark turn.
You are a prisoner and you have to be content here.
All right, guys. Well, that will do it for our show this week. Thank you again so much for hanging out in the chat with us and taking your Sunday to spend some time with us. We really, really, truly appreciate that. Jared, where can the folks find you?
You can find me at Richard Eric with a K Jarvie on Facebook and Instagram, and here weekly on PLD projects with Maddie and PLD.
Whoa, Gunner, where can the folks find you?
Yo, you guys can find me on Twitter at Matty Gunner, Instagram Matty_Gunner, Clubhouse, just type in my name, Matty Gunner. You can find me here every Sunday talking with these two fine gentlemen about Star Wars. It's become one of my absolute favorite things to do each week. I love like talking, getting in depth into these movies and these books and projects with you guys. And you can also find me on twitch.tv/MattyGunnerTV. In 30 minutes time, I'll be live on there. We have, for the ONU MMA show, we have a exclusive interview with Irish Joe Duffy, the first person to ever defeat Conor McGregor in MMA. He will be joining us live for his first interview since he retired about just over a year ago. It took us a long time to track down Joe Duffy, but we got a hold of him. He's going to be on the show. It's going to be a great interview, and I'm super stoked to talk to him, especially because, you know, first guy to ever defeat Conor McGregor. We gotta have a conversation about that.
Very cool, man. Very, very cool.
Impressive.
Go support Mr. Gunner. Definitely put the link in the private chat, and I'll put it in the real chat so they can click it. Real quick before I talk about mine, yeah, you know, that's the great thing about Star Wars, though, Zach, and everybody else. I think Lando remade L3, moved her back into a body of her own. You can think that. I love it. Like, until it's proven otherwise, your headcanon is exactly what it needs to be. I have plenty of headcanon stories about Star Wars that I'm going to make. I'm going to say is the way it is, at least until I hear it differently. Boy. All right, let me get this. Here's the link in this chat for Matty Gunner's Twitch. Go check him out. Support him for sure. For me, you can find me at Paul_Denuzio on Twitter. You can find me on every week on PLD Projects during this lovely show with these lovely gentlemen. And hopefully eventually Bedore will come back. I have been threatening it for a while. I'm in the last stages of trying to develop my Queen show, Mercurial Musings, which will be basically short form content, like it would be 10, 15-minute video. I'm going to break down every song in the Queen catalog, also maybe in the solo catalog, and we'll see where it goes from there. That should be a lot of fun for me. I had a great, if you didn't get a chance to watch me on Suddenly Soundtrack last week with on the PJ Campbell Network with Chris Clark, we broke down Queen's Innuendo, the album, the whole album. It was a lot of fun doing. I got to tell a lot of stories, and we had a great time. So go check that out. Also, you can also find my Action Industries on weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Falcon Winter Soldier review, as well as Action Filtered, The Action Guys, and depending on what Saturday content, we have a couple different shows like General Debate, Root of the Question, which is a Schmodown show. Speaking of Schmodown, you can find me on Called Action, usually weekly doing shows there. Well, it's been a little less and less recently because we've had like some scheduling issues and things like that. But we'll get it together as we always do. And then finally, of course, the FCL, our FCL match on Tuesday going down. Robert Montano versus Andres Gallego. And we got Vanessa Fitzsimmons versus Tom Chatabosh. It's a late to the party extravaganza at the FCL. So go watch that 3 p.m. on the Schmodown Twitch channel. And I think that should probably do it. I probably have more I could talk about, but I'm not going to because I've already been speaking forever. Jarvis, what's up?
One more thing. This is a plug for you, Maddie. You say, I think you posted on Facebook that you're doing a Mortal Kombat review, which you don't usually do in your own channel.
Yeah, I don't usually do movie reviews, but a lot of people have been hitting me up asking me to appear on various shows and stuff. I believe I will be on with the good guys over at Schmo Me the Money. We'll be doing a breakdown, a spoiler review there. But I figured that I'm gonna go a little bit more in depth into the fighting because from some of the interviews that I've watched with guys like Joe Taslim, they went to a lot of like Muay Thai gyms in Thailand that I'm very familiar with and worked with a lot of martial artists that I'm very familiar with. So it'd be going a lot more like in depth, not just the story and about the movie, but the actual fighting that is involved because there is a heavy MMA presence in Mortal Kombat from what I've been told. So I'm excited to break that down.
And next week, we're probably covering A New Hope. We're finally getting into the OT.
The OT. Do things from there, absolutely.
And it's going to be on the same night as the Oscars next week, I feel like. So this is kind of, I think A New Hope has the most nominations, if I'm not correct.
I think it's got some.
I'm mistaken.
Yeah. And in Star Wars franchise? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So this is going to be maybe we can approach the subject and kind of like in Oscars.
We could. We'll talk about every Star Wars nomination, so that'd be great.
Yep.
So, all right, guys. Thank you very much again. Like I said, thanks for hopping in, sticking around. Let us know what you want to, if you ever want us to tackle a subject. I'm always open to discussing new things about Star Wars. But I love these guys. I love you guys. Take care of yourself. As always, justice has been done. It's been served. Lightsabers are coming. We're going to go out. We're just going to stop this now. Bye, guys.
Call it.